Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Exponential Files. Today is our annual report. We're going to share with you why we're doing this show, what this show is about, why it's important to listen, and other kinds of things like that, right, Jim? Jim Lowenstern is the co host, I'm Larry Loffer.
I actually thought this was going to be the show about nothing, sort of in reference to Seinfeld.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Two,
people get
two,
that.
two guys talking about nothing and trying to make a 30-minute show.
Well, I think that, and I think if you go back and you look at this is show 24. If you go back and look at the first 23, you'll see that we've been growing as we go along. We're a show that's dedicated to highlighting the professionals who are just killing it inside EXP Realty and highlighting its culture and promoting those individuals who do that, who are more than happy to come on the show and share their expertise, their insight, their intelligence. It makes it pretty compelling half an hour. Haven't you felt that, Jim?
Um, I I find it to be the best 30 minutes of my week every week. I think we've had some real rock stars on the show.
Yes.
And I mean, if we're going to be honest, we had no idea what we were doing with the show when we started. Um, we still don't, but we have some ideas now.
Well, I think on the contrary. Hey, let me ask you a question. When you travel, Jim, are you do you get to the airport at the very last minute, or you're somebody who is there and ready an hour early and sitting in
I try not to stress myself out. I'd rather wait for an hour inside the terminal than
yeah, yeah, me
because
too.
I've had it both ways. Um, I remember flying to St. Martin, and I think the taxi. No, maybe I drove, but whatever. We went to the wrong terminal. We went to. I guess we were
Anyway,
flying.
this is a long story. Is there an end
Yeah,
to it?
yeah. No, there's no end to it. If you share your screen, maybe I can show Castle's magazine, sort of like what we're doing.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
here. Let me see. I can help you do that.
or
Multiple.
I can do, or I do share screen. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
what I do?
Why don't you share your screen? In the meantime, I'll make sure it's getting out to our live audience
Um,
as soon as you get over there.
yeah. let's see. So this is Castle's magazine. Do you see it on your side? You see Castle's
Not yet.
magazine?
No, I don't. I see us. Whoop. And I see us in the live stream. Um, yeah, this is that technology glitch that we had before. We need an extra.
Okay. Well,
We
let's
need
forget
we
about it.
need an extra
But
screen. Um, we're looking for
wait,
someone tech savvy who's smart in real estate. Come on, help us make this even a better show. We do want to be able to highlight the properties of all of these people. We've had people from all over the world, and we have people from all over the world coming up, starting with the CEO of EXP Realty, Jason Gessing. And the show is dedicated to you to help people who are coming on board understand what it's like to be in a culture that truly is giving you information willingly and understands that if you're successful, we're successful because we all are part of the business here.
right. And in addition to that, we're looking for a third co-host to yeah, to help us out. Someone at EXP and someone who well, they have to be younger than us, of course, because who could be older? Um,
And,
that all being said, I did mention Castle's magazine, so that's been in publishment, if that's such a word. It's been published, I should say, for decades now. And there's going to be an exclusive EXP only digital page turning version of it coming out literally in the next week. All the ads are free, full page ads. Just has to be a decent property, well written copy, 3 photos, high resolution. Send them to me, Jim at castlesunlimited.com. You might want to also join us at Castle's Luxury Group on EXP Workplace uh, to get into that group of free ad seekers. I think that's a good way to put it. Uh,
Ways to promote because it's an international company, and people are looking from all over. We're here to help you. We've got a fairly large and growing audience, and we're looking to grow that with people from around the world who have fantastic properties and are doing kind of interesting, inspiring, inspirational work.
and our company just came off the letter of intent, the LOI, this week. And what that means is we're fully integrated into EXP at this moment. The news hasn't been splashed all over Inman yet. I think that'll probably be coming shortly. But basically, a team of 70 in the Boston area came over. And in that period of time, so now our MLS roster is probably closer to 80. But internationally, in our Castles group, we've got 350 agents in 5 countries. And what else? That's
That
not
might be a
today, just put in perspective.
That might be just a little confusing. I know exactly what you're talking about. So you're talking about the physical office that exists in Newton and the agents who are here in Massachusetts. They're part of the Castles group, and there's 80 of them. I'm understanding that right? Yes.
Yes and no.
Uh,
So every and I don't think most EXP agents think of the opportunities and options they have, but in this case, there's a physical office, and we're going to call that a vertical. Okay, it's a vertical that I'm allowed to create in the EXP
Many
ecosystem.
people are. Many other people are and do.
Right. So they're not all physical offices. This is a physical office.
All right.
There are MLS rosters, even in Massachusetts, for example, where there's no physical office. I think rules have changed at this point that any new rosters have to have a legit physical office. Like I'm talking, I actually just came out of a meeting with a local agent who's thinking of leaving a franchise. I'm not going to mention which franchise, but they already have an office and they're thinking of opening up an EXP office right there. So we were going over the details. Since I've already been through the whole process and I did, crazy stuff, 7 offices down to now we're just a team under EXP or on top of EXP, depending on how you look at it. But that's one vertical. Another vertical would be my downline agents that choose me as their sponsor. That's another vertical. The Castle's workplace group and any EXP agent can start their own group. There's certain rules, as I found out by having a group with over 200 agents and seeing it disappear.
Well,
And no one,
that's pretty typical, though, Jim. A lot of people who came over, not everybody gets this right away and understands it, and it takes a little bit of business understanding and acumen to really come to grips with what this is and what's offered.
you really can draw outside the lines to a point, but the interesting point with that group is when it disappeared. First of all, no one sent a warning. No one told me that it was
You
going to
said when
disappear.
that group disappeared. What's that group? I'm trying to
It
stay
was
away.
Castles Unlimited International
Oh,
Mastermind
yeah,
Group, I
yeah,
think was the name of it.
yeah, the franchise
And
that
we
you own
had,
for 30 years,
actually, I think
35.
we had 250 agents, and we turned into a pumpkin when we went to 251 agents.
Hmm.
It just disappeared. And Facebook, Meta, whatever. There's no phone number. There's no person. There's no one to respond. To respond. There's no customer service. And then even at EXP, I don't know if maybe someone could have figured it out, but I think I finally figured it out with the help of one of my college age interns. And we started fresh. So now we're better and bigger and larger. But these are opportunities that exist with EXP that I had no idea existed when I joined. So when I talk about this to the audience, I'm saying EXP, you start at a certain point, and a lot of it's going to be you learning, but you can also learn from someone such as myself who's made the mistakes and kind of guide you to not continue making a mistake.
Well, I think that EXP Realty is fast becoming the only place where real estate professionals can grow more than one single revenue stream. There's a variety of them, and we have talked about them on the show, and we'll continue to talk about them. But that's one of the true benefits of it. And I want to differentiate and get back to something we started a while ago.
But I also want to mention
See,
just
this is a problem. This is
I
always
know it's a
it.
problem, but
You
you
always want
mentioned
to talk
revenue.
over.
No, no, I'm not even interrupting. I'm just adding to what you
Yeah,
already
you
said.
should listen to the show.
I know. I have, and I'm flabbergasted at how terrible I am on it.
Oh
Coaching
God.
and mentoring are additional revenue streams to what we've already talked about in the
Okay.
past.
Okay.
And that's a big thing at EXP. In fact, there's a whole division that's growing now, run by Tony Robbins' son, Jarek, called Success Coaching,
Hmm.
and EXP agents who have the ability to train and mentor and coach can get a gig there, from what I understand. Okay,
Huh.
back to you.
That's interesting and took us off in another direction. So let me finish. The Castle's Luxury group is what you were talking about, has something like 350 agents now.
350.
So there's a Castle's real estate agents, EXP agents who are on the Castle's team.
Castle's Unlimited team. Yep.
Correct. Okay. And the other is the Castle's Luxury, which is an EXP workplace.
Yeah, and and in a way they're kind of melding together. CastlesUnlimited.com is a place where we're promoting some of those agents on the workplace group and linking to their websites to boost their search engine optimization on their own personal websites.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and EXP.
In addition to the Exponential Files website, where we're taking links at the bottom of the page. So it'll say Spain or it'll say New York or whatever. You click on that. If it's New York, it'll have a list of towns and agents. And if you click the agent's name, it goes to their profile on Castles Unlimited. On Castles Unlimited, their website would link to their personal. So it's all interconnected.
Yeah, and anybody who knows anything about the internet and ACO understands that the more connected you are through a variety of different authentic platforms like that, the more traffic you're going to have. And it's really when you're tracking all of that stuff to see how it changes quickly when you interconnect various different things, and that this is just one more platform for that. And we're excited to do it. Both of us have been around long enough in the industry, and I've been. This is my third career. I've been in multiple industries, and see how true professionals who care about what they're doing, who are willing to get up and work at it and have a vision, their own personal vision. I was always self-employed, and for that reason, the only thing I truly know is my boss is a jerk. But the issue is how you want to build your business. And at this point, I'm thinking of how I want to build my retirement. And that's frankly, that's the main reason why I came to EXP.
Yeah. So in many conversations I'm having with group leaders, they have a team and what's the vision? Are they going to grow the team and then have someone wave a big check in their face when they're ready to retire. And this is a perfect market for this message. Don't count on it. You take a look at, and I try not to mention names, but there's a big company that grew very quickly off of let's say private equity placements and big payouts to bring agents over, and they grew like crazy. On the list of top companies, if you want to look it up, they're number five. EXP is number one as far as transaction count. And they're in the news because they can't offer the same deals they offered in the past. They're firing people and they're rolling back. And that's only to say that in this marketplace where the interest rates are rising, and I don't know, where are they now? Are they as high as 7%?
In
I mean,
in some cases, yes. Yeah.
where it was basically about 3% or
Well, yeah,
2.99
yeah. It was
last year, whatever.
well,
So that's
not last
more
year,
than
but yeah,
not
recently.
even, right? Six
Right.
months.
Yeah. Um,
People are saying, "Gee, I wish I put my house on in March. I would have gotten $200,000 more, and there would have been a bidding war."
well, here's the
And
thing, though. In up down markets and down markets, houses sell. And uh, in high interest rates, I mean, it makes no difference to millennials right now that interest rates at one point were 18 or 11%. People looking at today's market at 7% don't want to hear that it was, 3% last year.
their payments are doubling.
Yeah, exactly.
The
So you're
interest rate
buying,
doubles. I mean, it's mostly interest in the
you're,
beginning. In the beginning. So, but that's not the point. The point is, in this marketplace, don't count on that strategy to be your bailout. In other words, you're working hard. Okay, so who are you working for? Is it a small boutique company? They're not public. They're not issuing stock. They probably have maybe a revenue share, maybe a profit share, maybe something like that. But how robust is that? For example, I got to a certain point, 70 agents, seven office, all that. That's great. So now what? Do I sell it? And then if I sell it, I get X amount of dollars. Whatever that would have been 6 months or 12 months ago, cut that in half. If I get a bid at all. So this is a message for those team leaders and small office owners. Think about the next 5, 10 years. If you want to be out of this business or not, but at least have something a little more stable behind you, this platform works better than anything else that's out there because it's publicly traded. So, they're giving you stock, whereas your boutique probably can't give your agent stock. Or if you're a team leader, you're probably not getting stock, even
or,
if
or well, there
at
is
a
companies out
franchise.
there. There is companies out there with profit share. That's different than revenue share. Um,
Not public. I know you're talking about Keller
yeah,
Williams. It's not publicly traded.
right, right.
So they're not offering stock to their agents. They're not offering anything other than the profit share. And I think they went up to 8 years of, or thinking about it before they can then leave and still get money from their
To be vested.
downline.
To be
But
vested.
here's where EXP vested. Yeah. So EXP is a little different. You have to stay with the company, but that's actually a good thing because you want to be with a company that has some kind of intelligence behind their business model. I always scratched my head on that Keller Williams one. You mean I would just have to work for 3 years at Keller Williams and then I can compete against them and they're going to still cut me a check? Yes. I go, that is the stupidest thing I ever heard. That's just me. I think that paying my competition, I trained you, I took my time, I made you a success, and now you're competing against me with my own money. How does that work? I don't see it. So this agent who has this office was actually considering KW or EXP, and I sort of did the comparisons, and I really think that it kind of was night and day. It's like, you have a physical office. Is the local Keller Williams franchisee going to be allowing you to put up a sign making it look like you have a franchise for Keller Williams? Probably not. And they said, well, no. EXP is more entrepreneurial. You have an office, do what you want within, licensing guidelines, but as far as marketing, you've got free reign. So I'm just saying, in the future, build your current business on a platform that allows you to not work if you
Well,
don't want to.
the market is really changing, the real estate market, and there's a lot of real estate agents over the next year, as we go into this higher interest rate and perhaps a recession, certainly slowing down inflation, that we're going to lose a lot of real estate agents. The ones who are going to say, the other pressure point on that, Jim, as you know, is all of these like open door and all like Redfin. You only pay 1% to your listing agent. Um, there is always going to be companies that will try and undercut, do something cheaper, and in all cases, you get what you pay for. Um, these open door where you can just say, "Hey, I'm for sale. Come give me offers." Of course, people are going to give you offers, but do you know what your market value is? Do you can you understand the negotiating that goes on? Do you understand the paperwork, how to legally get it done and make sure it doesn't come back on you, or it's actually fully transferred? It's there's always going to be pressures. There's always going to be need for professionals because it's a financial transaction plus so much more, and it's a big ticket item for everyone who does it. You want somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. And there are lots of good ones. There are lots more bad ones. Uh, and I think it's going to be separated into the where people are getting their information and where they're getting their training. All of the places say they train, and they do because they have videos. But if you plunk somebody down and say, watch the video, even if the computer reads that, okay, I watched the whole thing, there's no test. There's no back and forth in conversation. You can learn that way, but that's not the way you learn how to do real estate. Real estate is a hands on, they used to say belly to belly. You can't do that because of, distancing. But it's a personal business that someone has to trust you and like you. Or if they don't like you, they certainly have to trust you. And that's your power of knowing and knowing what to do. And that's the people you
Well,
have around
it's
you.
also, the EXP platform and business model is not just about today, but it's the future. In other words, there are real estate agents that are aligned with a particular brand. They'll espouse the views of the company, and the company is, we spend more on advertising. Therefore, you can go to your sellers and tell them, look, we took out 30 pages in Boston Magazine. Each page costs $3,000, so we spent, yeah, 100 grand on all these, and no one can compete against that. And then I say, well, is that the 100 grand that you wanted spent on your behalf? Is it really helping make the phone ring on that particular house?
Yeah.
All it's doing is giving you a talking point
Yeah.
to say, look at this great ad, look how great we are, and therefore you should list with us, as opposed to, we only do really smart things. We pay the agents more than they can get paid anywhere else, so the better agents come and work and stay. And that ad, no one's, I shouldn't say no one, yeah, someone may be buying a house from an ad these days, but where do people go? They go to websites, they go to apps, because that's up to the minute. That magazine ad, I'll bet you half the properties in there are sold in any market before it hits the newsstand.
Right. Right. Well, in this market, it's not always true, and it'll change. I mean, days on market are going up across the country right now, and because it's an ebb and flow. Real estate is an ebb and flow business, and
But it's
what?
also the dialogue between an agent and the seller
Right.
with a
Right.
company like EXP that's forward thinking
Right.
and makes for a better financial decision for agents
Right.
to be there.
Right.
And then they have to, these agents just have to shift the narrative that, everybody is going to look at either their laptop, desktop,
Right.
cell phone app to
Right.
see what's going on in the marketplace. And everyone's signed up for alerts. And 1 minute after a listing is on, people know about it through technology, not magazine ads.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
And just like Keller Williams, paying agents that don't work at Keller Williams anymore, I think EXP had it right in saying, there's a certain degree of intelligence that we have to stitch in to the fabric of our business. I worked for or with, I was a franchisee. Gesundheit. I worked for a franchisee that had a different division where they were giving out corporate relocation leads. And I had access to them, but I had a fight with competitors of them and me to get them from them. It didn't make any sense. So I think, and again, we're just starting. It's been a year and officially just this week. It's a company that has a certain degree of forward thinking, a lot of insight
Yeah.
into where they're going. I mean,
Yeah.
they had the virtual reality environment from day one.
Yeah.
That's incredible. They
Yeah.
were thinking that we're going to have agents. We'll have 84, 85,000 agents someday. They're all going to have shares of stock. We want them in a big room together, and they're all over the world, and we can't fly them all in. It can't be mandatory, but they may want to join us. And then they bought the technology. That's forward thinking.
Yeah,
And then
it's called the meta world, and it is a place where you can go. You have your little icon, and you kind of walk around, but you can have real time conversations, real
metaverse
time.
and avatar.
Yeah, thank you for the correct words. And you can have a real time conversation with somebody who knows something that you're asking, because they'll. It's 24/7 because it's international.
And your avatar can dance too and do backflips.
I'd be surprised if my avatar could dance. I get out there because my wife loves to dance, but uh,
My avatar still has like a beanie. I don't know if I have dreadlocks. I mean, you can have any kind of avatar you want.
yeah,
I just haven't had time to change it, so
yeah.
I'm still with the beanie.
Well, tonight I'll share with the audience. We have a special meeting. I said, well, this is our annual report. Jim is coming. One of my closing gifts.
Rib,
Jim,
rib.
yeah, I make a mean baby back rib. I'm sorry, vegetarians. I eat mostly vegetarian, but sometimes a rib is a rib. Uh, but it's my closing guest, and it's different kind of thing. I like going to people's house and cooking a meal and seeing them not as real estate, like I'm doing this real estate dance with you, but seeing them as a family. And I enjoy that. I think it's a little bit different. And this is the first time you've been eating my cooking.
Yeah, it would have been last night if you had listened to the first part of the conversation. Are you doing anything tonight?
You know, you're
I
you're
drove
you're
to
just a
Larry's house last night,
yeah, you're just a sad
and Larry didn't
individual.
answer the doorbell. He
No,
he, he
no.
finally picked up his phone and said, "I'm eating with the wife. You got the day wrong."
We have that kind of relationship.
And
Yeah.
I was so hungry. I can't tell you how hungry I was.
I
I
invited
drove
you I
right to
invited you
Roach
in.
Brothers
I
and
inv-
bought ingredients for tacos and then raced home and made my dinner
yeah,
by myself.
I invited you in, and as long as you understand, that
Yeah.
you
It
can't be
was
wrong, I certainly understand that. You certainly can
it
never be wrong.
it
So,
it, it was it was very appealing. I was going to be having soup with you and your wife versus the ribs that you had been telling me about.
You're getting them tonight, so shut up, okay?
I'll report on the ribs. Actually, I'm going to take a little video of the ribs that we'll
Okay.
put up on social media next week.
Yeah. There we go. Hey, great show. I hope you guys are the judge of that. Tune in next week when we'll have a guest, and you won't have to listen to us. If you're interested in being a co-host and are younger than people who actually understand, like 30, 20 plus, which we don't. And I'd prefer to have another non-white. We don't need more old white guys talking to us. I don't think.
Oh my goodness. Let's end the show before you step in any more.
Before I step in anymore, okay.
Regardless of what Larry said, anybody can apply. Of course.
Yeah, because we're an all-inclusive kind
Well,
of.
the Exponential Files, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Recording stopped.